And start recording. Okay. Oh, that is the wrong display. Full screen. Sure. There we go. Ah, yes. Okay. Stream is gone. There. How are you doing, Alexi?
Good. Thanks. You?
Good. Good work on the community selection. I think that's a really good choice.
Hello.
Hi, Steve. Steve, you wrote the charter.
Yes, I wrote the original draft.
Okay. Alexi picked the community. Yeah, I think everything should look pretty good. We got 5 minutes yet before everyone else joins, so.
And I apologize if I've got to cut out. I'm actually heading to work today, so
Oh yeah.
try to catch as much of this meeting as I can.
What's Panda?
It's the name. It's the name of the owners that own this facility.
Oh yeah. What do you guys do there?
We're a power generation station. So we've got set up with 2 power blocks. We've got 4 gas turbines, 2 steam turbines, so combined cycle.
Oh, that's cool. Cool.
Yeah, we're currently in outage right now.
Oh, like for maintenance or?
Yeah, we're getting ready. Usually spring and fall here, we get ready for our big times are winter and summer runs, so we use this fall and spring to prepare for that.
How stressful is your industry right now? Like the big outage was a couple months ago, right?
No, it hasn't been too bad. Once we kind of made it through that freeze back in February. So we've done a lot of preparations since then over the summer. And actually, we kept running, and we had just minor issues. And there was only really one thing that kind of took us down and kind of got derated. We lost an SFC on one of the units, actually. We believe one of the CTs going to the package that opened up and smoked that whole cabinet. So that turbine wasn't starting back up.
A CT?
Yeah, well, your CT connections coming in from the high side. That's what we looking at where our fire originated. All our CT terminations were right there, so they didn't come back with anything definite on the findings. But that's what we believe.
You're speaking Greek to me. I don't know anything about the power industry or anything. Sorry. But I know like roughly how it works and like how cascading failures happen and how chaotic it can be, and one plant goes down on the other side of the state and then that affects everything else, and yeah. I kind of understand how it works, but the details escape me.
Along those lines, we had to deal with that during that little freeze down south in Texas.
Yeah, that was abnormal weather for you guys. Here it gets to minus 40 every year, right? So
yeah. We're built for the heat. We're not built for the cold. So our infrastructure on how stuff's set up here, it's gonna maintain it to be cool, not.
And your like daily temperature even is pretty even, like through the day,
yeah,
right?
Summertime, like peak of summer, which is like June to. I still think it's summer here now.
Right. We
stay in the mid 80s at night and then get up to 100 during the day.
Yeah, here.
It's really hot.
Yeah, here because we have a pretty wild climate in Saskatchewan. Like it can go like plus 20 to minus. Sorry, I'm talking Celsius. plus 20 Celsius to like minus 10 Celsius in a day. Like you go like air conditioning to heat like in the course of a day, and it can be like that every day. So
no, that's usually our winter.
Yeah,
our winter's like that. You wear a jacket in the morning, and then you're in shorts in the afternoon.
Yeah. Oh yeah, here we wear like parkas in winter, and the snow gets a foot deep like every year, right? So.
No, if we get bad weather, especially here in Texas, it's just wait 2 or 3 days. It'll be back to normal.
Right. Yeah, but we're done. We're pretty much done harvest here, so so things are going to kind of slow down for the winter. Everyone gets laid off and stuff because it's all farming here, right? That's like our industry. So
yeah.
Mike and Mike are here. I see they're muted, but that's all right. I wonder if Rincey's going to join. We got 1 more minute. We'll start in a second.
Hello.
Hi, Mike. How's it going?
Come on now. Hello. Hey, good. How are you?
Good. You're at home, Mike?
Yeah. Yeah, Saturday morning here, 8 a.m.
Oh, yeah. Where are you at again? You're in the UK, right?
No, I'm in Vancouver, Canada.
Oh, okay. Right. Someone else. There's 2 other people in the UK. I can't remember who's who. But...
4 p.m. now here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's 9 a.m. Oh, exactly 9 a.m. So we might as well get started. So,
friendly time, man.
We're pretty free-form with this meeting, I think. Just kind of review what everyone did and just come up with some ideas. There's no real schedule for today, so if we make it the whole hour, whatever, but we might go shorter. So we'll start by looking at the charter. I think everything looks really good. Can I turn on view changes somehow? View changes. It doesn't really matter. There we go. Okay, so it looks like everyone made a few changes, but we don't really have to worry about who did what. So this charter formally authorizes Brighter Tomorrow Project. That's what we're calling ourselves. I'm fine with that name. For developing.
Yeah, I just kind of crap something out.
Yeah, that's fine. Like, I guess our philosophy toward this project should be, I don't think we're gonna. This is, I mean, the Africa Poor Community Lighting Project, like, it's been beaten to death, right? So, and it's practically a solved problem. I mean, poverty in Africa is dropping dramatically, like, year over year, and it will basically be solved by mid-century, right? So, this for us is just an exercise, right? Kind of view it in its context. It's our group. We're students. Oh, my mic doesn't work on this computer. That's fine. You can just listen, or just type in the chat because it pops up. What was I saying? Right. View it in context. So we're a group of automation students. This is our group project module. The purpose of this project is for us to all come together, get some practice in project management and getting things organized and working together. Like, many of us will have, like, all of us are working people, right? So we all have kind of experience doing this, but seeing how difficult it can be, because we're all techie guys, right? So seeing how difficult it can be to kind of get people together, get people organized, and get agreement and stuff. We haven't had any major conflicts yet, but we might have one. Who knows? So that's kind of our philosophy towards a project: is group project, bring us together, get it done, stick to a schedule, delegate and negotiate, and meet all the objectives, and raise concerns and raise complaints and resolve them and stuff like that. So that's what we're learning in this module. So we're happy with the name. We're happy with the choice, Alexi. I think it's a good choice. I haven't been there to Bow Village, right? So I don't know what the situation is. None of us do. But again, it's kind of an inconsequential choice. It seems like a valid choice, though. Project plan will be developed and submitted to the project sponsor for approval. That's right. So the project sponsor is some anonymous donor who wants a tax write-off or whatever. He's got some money to blow, and he wants to help out some poor people for some reason, some philanthropist, right? Project plan will include scope statement, which we're going to be submitting with this charter. The scope is where we want to install solar power in this town for 15 families, and that's pretty much it. And some of the sub-objectives will be, we are all in agreement on solar power, right?
That's probably the best choice.
Yeah. I think so too. Yeah. Like it's well developed, it's reliable. I don't see a river here, so that's probably a bad choice. Wind might be feasible, but it's got a lot of moving parts, right? Solar power can be implemented with no moving parts. And wind is more scalable, right? Like that's for bigger scaling. So solar power is a good choice. Schedule. So we have the schedule roughly here. And we're lucky that, it's a student project, right? So much of it is spoon fed to us. Imagine trying to come up with a schedule on your own. How do you know? Like, you might think, getting solar panels to this African town might take 6 months, but no. It's going to take like 5 years to get through all the legal stuff and all of the complications of customs and design and assembly and shipping and purchasing. And there's going to be probably in Sierra Leone, it's not like North America or Europe where we have free trade, so there might be some corruption issues or some issues with importing stuff into the country. So, we're lucky that we get this because we can stick to this schedule because it's just a virtual project, right? So that's our schedule. Cost estimate, that one's pretty easy. We'll come up with the bill of materials. Maybe we'll even get real quotes, or we can just make up prices or just look at DigiKey or some automation direct seller or something like that, and get a quote from a solar panel manufacturer or whatever. That one's pretty easy. Budget, that's based on the cost estimate. Pretty much we'll take the cost estimate and double it for the budget. That's fairly normal, or maybe triple it because it's a different country. Who knows? Provisions for scope, that's pretty much this again. Resources, that's not sure what that's supposed to mean. Communications. Okay. Quality, of course, everything has to work and be reliable. Risk, which we have to think about. Much of this stuff will be in later modules of the project, right? So risk would be things like, what's our legal risk? What's the risk of burning someone's house down? What's the risk of blah, 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 blah. Or an outage or whatever. Procurement, so that will be part of the cost stuff that will be purchasing, as well as project control. So we've got that on lock, right? And it's all laid out for us. So again, everything's being really spoon-fed to us because it's a student project. Trying to figure this out from just grassroots would be really difficult. Project sponsor Chris Smith. Oh, that's the name of our donor. Okay. Director of Operations will make all assignments of resources. Okay. Project scope. So what I'm thinking we should... Anyway, we'll just run through that quick. I think we've talked about all of this before. Currently depend on kerosene lamps. This is taken almost verbatim from the project guide. Again, this looks like it's verbatim from the guide, so we all understand that. Project manager role will be held by John Jones, who will be authorized to manage and assign all responsibilities within the project structure. So we can invent that person and just, so this is Chris Smith is the person who's funding it and approving the decisions. John Jones is the guy who's making the decisions. So this is the guy in charge of the project. This is the guy who's really in charge of the project. The money man and the operations man. Authorized to manage and assign all responsibilities for the project structure. So we can kind of invent him. His signature will be on the project charter as operations manager, or on the cover letter or something. And Chris Smith will also sign that. Strict adherence to safety standards. Who added that? Oops.
That was me.
That was you? Okay, awesome. Yeah, good addition.
Only good to talk about safety in something like this.
Oh, did I get mixed up? Sorry. Hey, where did I go? Oh, I just turned off track changes. I see. Oh, I wanted it to stay on. There we go. Strict adherence to all safety standards and environmental impacts will be monitored throughout the duration of the project, which will be overseen by the project manager and health and safety and environment department. Perfect. That we'll fill in the details later. We'll look at the community selection. This is by Alexi, a village called Bo in Sierra Leone, and it is, I could probably just open it on Google Maps. That's our village, and it looks like it looks like the right choice. And don't confuse it with Bo Town, because that's a big city in Sierra Leone. Lowest access to electricity. Let's have a look at that. So Tanzania, Niger, Sierra Leone.
Yeah, number 8.
Mm-hmm. And we can base a lot of our stuff on the World Atlas. It's just facts and data about the country, right? I've never been to Sierra Leone. I don't know what it's like there. But that will be part of our risk assessment, right? Checking how free is trade, how corrupt is the country, how what's their education level, that will be the next thing we talk about, is how much electricity is available there. And we'll assess that.
I just checked that it's no war in there, and quite basically the political situation is stable.
Right.
So
For now, like Sierra Leone, you guys might know, has had some pretty bad civil wars in the last couple decades. I think it was in maybe the 90s, or we should definitely read up a little bit. Part of getting a better understanding of Sierra Leone, read the Wikipedia page about it, right? See what their recent history is, and maybe Google around about the culture and stuff. But they have had a little bit of problems with their civil situation, right? I'm going to try not to cover I realize that I've got the overlay here, so. Okay, relatively calm political situation. seeks to develop its energy infrastructure. Good. So they're ready and willing, right? And no grid extensions. So that would be a useful thing to put on our project charter, would be maybe a map of their electrical grid, just to show that this community is quite isolated from the existing infrastructure, right? So that would kind of legitimize our choice. So monsoon climate, good to know. So everything has to be probably waterproof and hurricane resistant. Solar panel, not very hurricane resistant. If you got flying debris and high winds, right? It's a big wind sail, so you got to keep that in mind when you're doing the mechanical design. Yearly temperature of, and it doesn't snow there, not like here or Texas, so that will not be a complication. But the humidity will be always, count on it being 100% all the time, right? Yeah, low temperature, 23 Celsius, so we're good. Warmest and cold, really? Okay. January and February are, okay. So yeah, it rains a lot and it's quite humid. 83% is very, very humid. So we will open that.
Look, I don't know how accurate that data was, but it was the only one I could sort of find on the internet. So,
yeah, that's fine. We'll fact check everything this week. Like pretty much every number and statistic that we put in our initial submission, we're going to find a really good source for it. We're going to cite the source, and we're going to put a check mark beside it once we know that it's from a reputable source, right? So that is those two documents reviewed, and I see that we're tracking changes, and we're tracking changes here, which is good. We'll finish off this one. So there's our schedule. Upon approval of the project plan, which we are going to do next Saturday, not today. I'm sorry if I caused some confusion. I got ahead of myself. I thought that the submission deadline was this Monday, which is why I was kind of rushing things forward. But I guess it's next Monday, like on the 11th, right? So we've got the rest of this week to polish this up. So there's our schedule, and we'll worry about this in the future. We only have to solve this week's problems right now, right? And 300,000 say AR. Let's just get some perspective on that. Oops, wrong window. So 300.
Yeah, that's because I kept our project, our office location as South Africa, so I kept the currency of South Africa.
Okay, I don't know. So 20 grand. Okay. Do we think that we could? I think that personally, if I was doing it myself, I think that I could get solar lights into 15 houses on the other side of the world for 20 grand. I probably wouldn't be able to pay myself, right, or our group members to do that, so it would be a charitable act. But just for cost and getting it there, it's probably reasonable. So, hi, Rincy, I didn't notice that you joined.
Yeah, I was 3 minutes late. Sorry. So I was just
no worries. You can check the first 3 minutes. We didn't talk about much. So that's where we're at with this. Approved by project sponsor. So Chris Smith will sign here. And we'll also put John Jones's signature line down here too. He'll sign. Sound good?
All right. Just a question there on the budget.
Right.
It says that the donor wanted to remain anonymous, but I think we're mentioning there as Chris Smith, is it?
Yeah, so this might, we'll so his I mean, he has to sign a check at some point, right? So his name will be associated with the project somewhere. Whether he has to be publicly associated with it, no. This document, our project charter, can be kind of a private document, right? Or we can just put anonymous, and then he signs it or whatever. Or we just exclude his name from it altogether. What do you guys think? So I'm thinking for our submission, it should look something like this. Our cover page with those pictures are in the wrong place. Okay, well, they can just sit there. Cover page with some of this kind of clerical information on it, like our authorization, detailing the structure of our organization. If we want to identify the donor, we can, or we can just say he wants to remain anonymous. The project manager, like there has to be some accountability, right? So our project manager is John Jones. This is his signature, and that's who's managing the project. So, and the name of our organization, and our address, and our contact information, and stuff like that. So the cover page would be wouldn't be like it could be a public document, but that's not what the public's going to be interested in, right? And maybe we could include the revision history on the cover page. Like the cover page will accompany the charter, but the cover page is not really the charter. I'm not sure how we'll kind of organize that yet, but I'm not sure. What do you guys think? Any thoughts about how we want to kind of... I don't know. I only want to submit like a 3-page thing, maybe. I was thinking cover page would be just text. Like it can be the charter. And then maybe I don't know. What do you guys think? Any thoughts about
it? I mean, I think it might serve for the cover page and potentially a contents page if we might be later on adding to this document as we go along.
Okay.
At the moment, it's going to have the project charter and then the community selection, and potentially other associating documentation will follow down the line, I presume.
Sure. Okay. Like, I don't know. I'm not sure. Like, do we want to be flashy and sexy, or are we just doing text? I had kind of like, this is the brainstorming session, so any ideas are on the table, right? I was kind of thinking of doing for the charter, like, kind of brochure style, or like magazine style, something like that.
Maybe we'll be better looking, if it will be that style.
Yeah, like I wouldn't mind submitting something like that. Like it can just be all phony baloney stuff, right? Like, something like that or something like that. I think we looked at that one already. So like kind of a brochure style, I wouldn't mind doing if you guys are all right with that. And then it looks more kind of official and professional and marketable, I guess. you know, if you hand something really nice and flashy to the donor, he might be more likely to say, okay, you guys look like you know what you're doing, right? Like
I got a professionalism to it.
Yeah. Like if we aim for that, so again, looking at it in context, like in reality, like our group would be like a charitable. I've never worked for like a nonprofit or anything like that, so I don't really know what the culture is or whatever. But I think it's kind of like a business. Like you want to sell your project idea to the donor, right? Because you want him to fund the project. It's just like private business, right? Like he's the customer and you want to sell this to your customer. So if that's a philosophy toward that you guys are kind of comfortable with, and any thoughts on that? Or
one picture would do good. I think plain text will make it too boring. Even I feel that at least one picture will make it look a little more better. I feel.
Yeah. So.
Elliot, can we just to see in the segment 1 guide, it does make mention of 3 points there to follow, potentially with this number structuring and all of that, which seems to, go on the text.
Okay. So
just in case we don't deviate too much from the guide. I think it's on the next page, page 4. It gives a bit more detail on the charter guide.
Okay. Hey, that's a pretty safe way to do it too, right? Just do the following. Okay, let's stop trying to complicate it. Move their title page. Let's just do exactly what they're saying here. Forget everything that I said about making it sexy. We can just do this. If that's what...
Hey, I like the sexy idea. I think probably a meet in the middle, right? You still want to show that you have some originality to this project and you're trying to bring those types of things as far as what you can develop as a group. I think the guide lays out, it's just like, hey, what we're asking is that you just do this, but what you're describing and what you're recommending, I think it'd be good, even if you found like a happy medium in between. So it shows some creativity and you took the initiative to do it.
Yeah, okay. Hey, what do you guys think about that? Meeting in the middle, kind of a compromise.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Okay, awesome. Let's do it then. We're gonna compromise. So we're gonna follow this, but we're gonna make it sexy. So I'm happy with that. Okay. So
I don't want to complicate it too much, but just the project charter definition in a sense. It's a formal document used to define the project structure, and I don't know if sexy goes against the grain.
Okay.
Not complicated.
Okay.
Because I don't think a project charter is meant to get donor money in a sense. It's once you're outlining and defining your scope in a sense of your project.
Okay.
If we look at the definitions in a sense,
Oops, control typing just click. Oh, I should have that open already, actually. Yeah, okay, let's, okay, project charter, formal document. Yeah, okay, we'll revisit the brochure idea in the future, maybe. Yeah, let's go formal text charter then. And we'll just tighten it up and get it down to 1 or 2 pages. And Okay. Yeah, let's stick to this because I think you're probably right. Okay.
Just a plain text, yeah?
Yeah, okay, sure. We'll stick with plain text for the charter, and maybe we'll put a company logo or something at the top, but that's about it. Okay. So the project charter, we'll just get it kind of pared down, get rid of all our track changes and stuff, and just clean up this document. And that will be what we submit. We'll follow the segment 1 guide exactly. Okay. Was there anything else to review on here? So for now, let's just toss this. Toss that. Don't need that. Oh, that might have been useful. That's okay. Okay, so is there anyone here who didn't have a job for last week? Michael SCH. Did you have a job last week? I think you're muted, but oh, LOL. Oh, right, he's sorry, yeah, Mike's often, yeah. Waiting for you to say or type something. Michael Schoenmaker.
Oh, sorry. Sorry,
that's all right.
Mark wasn't working.
Did you have
No, I didn't have a job.
Okay, do you want to... could you just take this charter? It's in the Dropbox. Do you have access to the Dropbox?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, can you take this charter and just tighten it up? Like, go through it, proofread, and get rid of some of the empty space and stuff, and get it close to being presentable. Like, if you could get it down to 2 pages, just with formatting, that would be good. I think we can use this as our cover page.
Yep.
And just follow the segment 1 guide, which is also in the Dropbox. And we're just going to follow this description here exactly for... Yeah, just follow this guide and make sure that we're compliant with everything that it says.
Yep, I can do that. No worries.
For sure. And get rid of... so it says that the donor wants to remain anonymous, so get rid of all the references to Chris Smith and just replace it with the donor who wishes to remain anonymous or something, and then have the project manager John Jones sign it at the bottom here. And you can keep the revision numbers, so your revision will go down here, obviously.
So if he's gonna, I guess it's like confusion. If he's gonna remain anonymous, I guess his role up there as project sponsor, I mean, he's allocated some duties, so it'd be, I mean, you'd have to completely exclude any kind of further writing of mentioning him, so you know our documents later.
Yeah, I guess like you could just we could just refer to him as the project donor, right? And I mean, all you need for the project to succeed is someone hands you a wad of cash or gives you signing authority to a bank account or something, and then the project, you can just go ahead. But I'm not really sure how that kind of stuff works.
Because I think you can think as the actual project sponsors, different roles, not just as far as sponsoring the funding.
Okay.
Or if you make mention in the document saying that, the people that are actually funding this or not. I mean, we're implying that the sponsor is the one that's actually, but the sponsorship can mean many things other than just donating money.
Yeah, project sponsor.
Normally, the project would be owned or sponsored by a local bank or the government or Department of Rural Development, those kind of authorities, right? We're just an R&D company who's designing a way of lighting up their village, right?
Right. So yeah, we're not. Yeah, we're the R&D company, so we don't. I guess we don't care who's paying us or who's paying for the project or really any of. Yeah, right. Okay, good point, Rincy. That's something that we kind of lost sight of, I guess. We are the R&D company. Where's R&D? Again, like if it was real world, this would be easy because you would know for sure. But now it's like we have to kind of adopt this identity. So we are the R&D company. We're not the marketing company, so we don't have to make the sexy brochure or anything like that. That's right. Okay, so we're the techie people. We're not selling it to anyone. We're not worried about the politics or anything like that. We're worried about the so the risk management. We don't have to consider corruption or how to get it there or how to ship it or anything like that. Aside from the technical stuff, so we're doing the design and the analysis, the technical stuff. Okay, so that tightens our scope a little bit. Okay, we're the R&D company.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Project charter written. Okay, that's all we have to do. So we'll just follow the segment one guide, and that's what we'll write the charter. Are there any more concerns or doubts about this segment submission, I guess?
Is there any outside jobs that need to be allocated, or kind of just rounding it off with him summarizing or cleaning up the document and then putting it up for a final review? That's pretty much it, right?
Yeah, so does everyone just want to kind of do their job again this week? This was a really easy segment, right? Like there wasn't much technical work to do or anything. So do we just want to hand the charter around again this week, I guess? Are we happy?
Sounds good.
Are we happy to do that? Okay, so we'll go... so 1 is my SCH. 2 is... I'm just going to pick names. Oops, sorry. Rinsing again. So these guys will proofread, and then I'll have the last look at it because I haven't made any changes yet. And then Saturday meeting, we will vote. And what do you guys have any? Like, we should probably aim for what kind of vote do you guys want to do for approval? Like majority or consensus, or does anyone have a real preference there? Like everyone in the group should be happy with what we do, right? So we should try to not have any outstanding complaints or doubts before we do the submission. So a consensus vote, are you guys all right with that? Consensus is
I
good.
believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, sounds good.
We're going to do a consensus. So that means that everybody, at least in attendance for the vote, has to say, okay, approve, and then we'll submit it. So why I'm putting myself last is I'm going to like archive it or make a zip document and say this is exactly what I'm going to submit to the Moodle folder, just to avoid any confusion, because there's going to be a ton of different documents and stuff. So the zip file is called segment 1 segment 1 submission for approval .zip or .rar or whatever, and that's what we'll be looking at and nothing else. And that's what we'll be voting on. You guys all right with that? Yeah, that's just kind of
I believe so.
Yeah,
Yep.
sure. Okay.
So
Okay,
Elliot, you'll be adding the cover page before it goes around for the next set of proofreads, or you'll be adding it just at the end?
Yes. What is the cover page supposed to be? Example cover page. Well, it just says include cover page. I think it's just going to be one Word document. Like, it's already most of the way there. This is the cover page. I don't think it has to be included as a separate PDF or anything. Like, or what do you guys think, Zane?
Yeah, what does everyone think? If you just look at the guide, it looks like it's the cover page, the charter, and then the identification of the community, I presume, all in one document.
Yeah.
How does everyone read that?
Yeah.
Sure. And we'll call the document. We'll call the document DIA35, Group 5, Project Charter, and then the charter includes cover page, charter, and identification of the community as part of the charter. I think. Like that's just section 5 or whatever. So it'll be just one.
Following section.
Yeah, it'll be one document. Like I might. It might seem like I'm kind of complicating it, but for future modules, there will probably be more than one document included in the submission, right? So
Yeah.
that's why I want to just archive it, and like the archive's going to contain one document. But future archives for future modules might have 20 documents, a bunch of drawings or electrical schematics or cost analysis, bills of materials, and other kind of stuff like that. So I'm trying to kind of look ahead to how it's going to go. So okay, so we're going to follow this schedule then. And I will save this, and it should update the... I'm not going to make a new version because this is all I added. So everyone, since it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we've got 7 days. So Mike Schoenmaker, is that how you say your name, by the way? I'm sure it is.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
you can do this like immediately after the meeting. Have your look at it and then just upload it back. Because if we want to give everyone a chance, then we have to do it pretty quick, right? So you can do this today. It'll take you an hour or half an hour or whatever. And then Alexei, you can have a look at it tomorrow. Steve, you can do it on Monday. Zane, Tuesday.
Okay.
Mike Sovereign, Wednesday. Rinsey, Thursday. I'll have a look at it Friday night and get everything pulled together and ready for our meeting on Saturday, if that sounds good to you guys.
Sure, okay.
Sounds good.
Okay. So that's okay. So that's all of the kind of clerical stuff for this submission done. So let's not talk about segment 1 anymore. Let's talk about the actual project. So does anyone have any kind of brainstorm ideas or like how you guys want to do things or what experience you have or ideas you have or anything like that or technical stuff? Let's talk tech for the rest of the meeting.
Can I say, guys, I worked on a solar installation before.
Okay.
I built
Perfect.
industrial roof installations, and basically the biggest project was the Grimshire solar farm. It was about 8 meg.
Really? 8 megawatts. Okay.
Yes.
So it sounds like you... So what kind of technology do they use? Like, again, I have very little experience with solar power. I understand the principles of it. And so there's the panel, and then what's next?
basically we have some amount of panels, then which are connected in series. Then the DC power from the panels go into the inverter. Then usually from the inverter to the grid. If it's in case of solar farm, it's big scale projects. It's going to the transformer, which transformers for the higher voltage.
Okay.
For the HV, and then put into the grid. In case of industrial roofs or homes, it's basically going to the grid.
Okay.
After inverter. Some what we going to do. We have two choices. First, just install the low voltage lamps in there, so it will be like about 12 voltage lamps or something 24, or do the full power. I don't know, 110 or 230 volts. That's basically depends from the voltage in Sierra Leone. I think it will be 230
probably
in like year. Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's something that's easy to find out. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a question on that. Is it not preferable that we go straight 12 volt DC with the LED? That's usually.
Yes, so that's something that we have to decide is what is the 230 is more expandable for future. So that we have to, that will be part of our risk assessment, I guess. So there's two approaches we could take, right? We can go standalone, DC only power, 12 volt system, and it's just a solar panel and a light with all of the integrated electronics, and you just put the solar panel on your roof, and a battery, and you put the light in your house, and that's it. The other approach is permanent solar panel installation with the inverter, providing mains voltage to the house, probably under some kind of current regulation, right? Because it's only a solar panel, whatever, and expandable, and also integratable into the grid. So those are our two kind of, that's a big kind of philosophy design choice for us to make. How do you guys want to resolve this? Should we put it to a vote? Like the simple way is easy, but it's kind of boring, right? And not very, I mean, we could go to the dollar store and get something that would do that for $5. So I would like to leak, because Alexei, you seem to have some knowledge of larger scale installations, and Steve, I know that you work in the power industry. I don't, so yeah. I'm kind of banking on you guys.
Battery banks, not solar in particular, but yeah, I mean the setup for how DC to AC converts, and then battery banks. So
right, yeah, I mean solar panels are really easy because it's just DC out, which is, and the complication is that it's renewable, so it's not a steady source of power, right? That's inescapable though, but that's easy to kind of work around. Does anyone else have any like power industry experience? Staying with DC lights would be the simplest. Yeah, simple. That's right, yeah.
My only concern living in Africa is that two points. One is maintenance of something that's particularly a bit more involved.
Mm-hmm.
And then secondly, what do you call it? Housing all this equipment. If we're thinking about a rural area, that houses are not, I would say it's quite minimalistic in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Some mud and bricks.
And I suppose probably a couple other concerns might be things like, yeah, you are cutting out saying, sorry, we couldn't hear the last part of that. But we heard up to minimalistic, I think. I guess some other concerns might be, lack of maintenance, vandalism, or theft, right? So simple versus complex. 230 volt is dangerous. Yeah, that's right. If someone's living in a thatched roof hut or a little wooden shack or something, it might burn down their house. Yeah, 230 is dangerous. Or whatever, yeah. So that it's a safety concern. And
I mean, like you're... Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Oh, someone was trying to talk. So.
But basically, we can end with if we go in about 12 or 24 volts, we could end with the installation, which will be useful because we should think about supply as well and spare parts. When these LED lights will be off after a couple of years, let's say, and we need to replace them, where people in Africa buy them. They probably will be using old conventional lamps or something like that. That's what I think.
Like a medium base incandescent or something like.
Yes. So we basically should think about replacement. The voltage, I don't know. I think it could be safe if we do proper IP rating.
Yeah, that's right. So again, we have to worry about humidity and rain and stuff. So everything has to be waterproof and pretty much locked down.
Yeah.
Like we don't want Joe Blow farmer trying to do his own mains maintenance if he doesn't know anything about electricity, right? There's kind of a third approach, which is again kind of a compromise or meet in the middle. Do the DC installation. It does say the village will do their own maintenance, I thought. Yeah, that's right. So, okay, they can do their own maintenance.
It should be something. It should be something simple as a Lego.
Yeah, that's right. So using gendered connectors so that you can't hook things up backwards, or making it unimportant. So that would be the nice thing about AC, is that you just hook it up backwards and it still works, right? The third way that we could do it is do everything low voltage for now. Have a distribution system, like centralized panels and just a DC-DC converter, battery bank, etc. And make it retrofittable to work with the grid, so that you could just bring in a mains power line or drop it down with the transformer to mains or whatever, and then hook it into this grid system so that it can feed back even into the grid, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, what do you guys think about that? And again, to make it Well,
I guess it just depends on where you're going with it. I mean, it's as far as what the project states. I mean, like you're saying, there's different ways. Is it set up for potential growth? Is how you're looking at it?
Yeah.
Or is it just you're getting lights? That's it. We're done.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm assuming it's meant to be a standalone system as well.
Right, you have to sync the phasing.
Yeah,
that's right.
As far as tying into a grid, I mean, you would have a whole lot more
complexity
as far as equipment, right? I guess you really got to look at the aspect of if these people are going to be maintaining this equipment. I mean, simpler the better, but they'd have to know their limitations up front. Going, hey man, once we install this is all you get because we didn't build it to, for growth.
Okay. Well,
I don't know the current condition.
I guess, again, if we just stick strictly to the project guide, then it says, hey, all you got to do is lighting, right? So if we just stick to that, then it makes it a lot simpler.
Hi guys. It's I'm Denolan or Dino.
Hi.
I work at a power station. So in terms of tying it up to the grid, I don't advise that. I think if we just stay with the question and stay simple with just DC lighting, that should be sufficient. But that's my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah.
At the moment, obviously, there is no grid, right? So
that's right.
It's a standalone system for the town.
Okay.
No, when I told about grid, guys, I just told that's about my experience.
Okay.
That's it. But it's no sense to do a grid in our situation at all.
Okay.
I think just to add to Elliot,
Just the lights, simple lights. That's it.
yes, sorry, just to add to Elliot's point earlier about potential expansion, I think there was something mentioned in the webinar 1 for module 5 that we can have some thought in the process of potentially powering a school or something, lighting up a school, for example, if they have in the area.
Okay. Yeah, so see, that would be like, putting one light bulb in one house is really easy, but then, a school might have multiple rooms. Hard to say.
I think you could, I might not have as much experience as Alex there, but I think you still can incorporate some growth by having pretty basic or lower cost like AC/DC converter for future growth. And and it's not just elaborate equipment that you have to have there. I mean, it still can be, as far as what the technology is now, it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think we still could
you can
incorporate some of that things.
Okay. So let's plan to keep it simple for now. So I guess this is the next kind of question that will guide us. What do you guys think? A network in the town, like having one, having power poles and having lines running to every house, or just doing it house by house? Like the network is definitely a lot more interesting, right? Any thoughts on that?
I think you'd probably have to set up, instead of just doing individual house. I mean, if we've got to spec the whole project out, you can do, as far as build like a small structure that would hold enough batteries to power them, but you still try to accommodate for future growth.
Expansion, yeah.
And that's where you could put, and it doesn't have to be an elaborate, I mean, you know, like a little shack that would hold a lot of this stuff that could be thrown into the cost for the project.
Yeah, and like
I think it's a feasible deal.
Expandability is as simple as making the building bigger than it has to be, or leaving some room in the equipment cabinets, and specing an equipment cabinet that's 2 or 3 times bigger than the minimum amount of space required to house the equipment for the DC only power, so that you could put in this inverter and some PLC equipment or whatever you need. Again, I don't have much experience with this stuff, so and
I think with the centralized distribution area, that should be good enough for the expansion and all of that. So we would distribute power from a centralized point to each of the houses, and then if there's future expansion, that should be catered from that centralized point.
Yeah, and I guess one other thought that I kind of had, how do I say this? Like the wiring like the network will have a couple of major components, right? It will have the centralized distribution substation, I guess you call it, right? Or it'll be the main station, whatever you want to call it. There'll be that part of it. Then there will be the network wiring, and then there will be the end user's junction box that you plug the light into or whatever. The wiring part of it, I just had this kind of weird thought. Could we size it for mains voltage use in the future? Like, that might be expensive, or I don't know. Like, you guys will know more about that than I do.
No, you could, because cost comparison is usually how we kind of spec out jobs. If you were to size for just a slight amount of growth, like even say a 15 or 20% growth on top of what you're trying to build for, cost comparison, it's really very minimal.
Right. Okay, so if it's lighting only. Yeah, I mean, whatever wire we choose. Like, again, we have to kind of, when we're doing this design, we have to think about, like, metals theft, right? Remember, we have to keep in mind cost. Right, so 20 grand. Okay, so keep the $20,000 thing in mind. So we're not going to be putting in big poles and stuff like that. So, okay, so...
Well, also, too, since we haven't submitted that, I mean, we still could also bump up our amount of money. I mean, we don't have to make it $1 million job, but we could give ourselves, a little bit more leeway so we can kind of have a meet in the middle aspect here, future growth and simple.
Right. Zane, I didn't really want to say it, but that's what I was thinking of. Like, copper theft, even here in Saskatchewan, copper theft is a problem. Like, people working in barns and stuff, they will pull the wires out of the walls and they will sell it for $1 a pound or whatever.
They do that here too.
Yeah, like, so, like, I was thinking probably we should lean toward aluminum wire, even though it's, not quite as good, but probably we should lean toward that.
As well.
Yeah.
I think we have to stick with the copper, and I think we have to be a little bit realistic. We can go with the bigger infrastructure with just thicker cable. It's just a matter of adding a distribution box at each house that would cater for different electricity points, apart from just the lighting. So I think the infrastructure can be put in the beginning to create the expansion. It's because once something is live, it's very difficult for them to steal copper or steal cable.
Right. Okay, yeah, so the end user and the network could be, like, potentially mains compatible. So, like, but just run it on DC for now. I suppose. I guess. Like, I guess we'd have to look at the Sierra Leone electrical code to see what's legal there. But it's certainly feasible, I suppose.
Yeah, I think it'd just be a little bit more, I guess, slight more research.
Yeah.
See, again, that you stated or somebody stated earlier, hey, the readily available stuff, I mean, are they going to find DC type lights, or is it more AC incandescent bulbs? It's...
Yeah, and we would just maybe get in contact with electrical retailer or supplier. And anyways, that's the end of it. We're at an hour, so I think we've got lots of good technical ideas going. So, yeah. Okay, so it sounds like a small town-wide network, DC power, with the centralized distribution, and bearing in mind the potential for theft and maintenance and vandalism. And we're going to stick to the charter. It's just lighting for now, but it might be upgradable in the future. So, okay, you guys happy with that? Any more ideas or complaints or doubts or anything?
You here? Oh, good.
Oh, hi, Nino.
No, I've got nothing.
Okay. Yeah, so let's stick to this. This is what we'll do this week. Again, just a reminder, and you can come back to the video. This should be in the Dropbox already because it's synced to me.
So, quick question is, I know you had asked Mike. Mike's restructuring that and cleaning that up, correct?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, so Mike's first job today is to do this, then it's Alexi, then it's Steve, Zane, Mike Sovereign, Rincey, and then I'll bring everything all the way together, and I'll submit that to you guys for approval on our next Saturday meeting. And I think we have the whole group here. Alexi, Mike, Steve, yeah, that's 8 people. That's everyone.
Oh, it's nice.
Perfect. Everyone's on board, so everyone's getting full marks for this segment. So awesome.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
sorry,
Yeah.
guys. Yeah, I need to apologize for the last week and even the late entry today. Just that it was just a bit difficult for me to tie up with everything and follow everything through. So
Yeah,
I think from moving forward, I should be every meeting. So it should be
Oh,
good.
hey, Mike. Okay, awesome. Thanks, Dino. Yeah, don't feel too bad because I totally forgot about the segment 1 seminar. I thought about it on Saturday and I just totally forgot, so I wasn't there on Wednesday. Oops. I have to just watch the recording. Not a big deal. I don't even know what they covered. I haven't looked at it, so I'll watch it today. I see in the project guide we have to address spares and maintenance, which we can keep in mind. Yeah. And transport. Yeah, we'll do all that. We'll delegate kind of all of the... Oops, my cursor's on the wrong window. We're going to delegate all of the tasks. So maybe someone will be in charge of selecting the panel. Someone else will do the current regulation and battery charging. Someone else will do the distribution compound design, like if it has a fence or what kind of building. And someone else will do the distribution, like the network wiring. Someone else will do the light selection. Someone else will do the end user, like the junction box, and if they have a panel box or whatever, and their like wall boxes or whatever, however that works. And yeah, we'll sort all that out in the coming weeks and months, right? So if everyone is good with that, this is a little over time already, so I'm just going to shut her down.
Mm-hmm.
Any closing thoughts? Anything? Okay, thank you very much, guys. I'm glad that everyone is on board. All good here. I think we're good. So follow this schedule, and if you can't do your part, just let us know, or if someone's taking too long, just take the initiative and do it, and we'll hell or high water.
Just quickly on that one.
Yeah.
Just quickly on that one. Yeah, I won't be able to do that until this afternoon or tonight. So
that's cool.
I should have time tonight to do that my time. So
yeah, I mean, take your shot if you can, or if you want to. If you don't want to, then don't do it. I'm thinking that everyone's fully participated. Like, I'm talking to everyone. Sorry, not just you. Hell or high water, whatever's in the Dropbox on Friday night, I'm taking it, and that's what I'm running with. So I'll let you guys know when submissions are closed on Friday, and whatever version's in there, I'm going to take it and start working with that. So,
okay,
all good.
Okay, so Elliot, so I see everybody's basically got tasks. I obviously missed out so far. Is there any task available that I could help out with, or do anything that's necessary?
Yeah, you can have the last look. Dino, you get the important job. You have the last look. I just put your name here before it gets to me.
Okay.
So whatever you send to me, that's what we're going to do. So there's not a lot of time. Even if you just open it and close it, or just... Sorry, there's too many people and not enough days. So take your shot if you get a chance, and if you can't, then don't worry about it too much. But, okay, I'm going to shut her down. So thanks very much, guys, and talk to you next Saturday.
Okay.
You have a good weekend.
Thanks. Bye.